50 Cent is coming at Jim Jones after Jim dissed Nas on Fat Joe and Jadakiss' podcast. Jim claimed he's a better rapper than Nas and has contributed more to the culture than Nas ever did. How did Jim go from admiring Nas to trying to tear down his legacy? Could Jay-Z be the reason behind this shift? And why did Jim side with Jay-Z after years of dissing him? Is 50 Cent right for calling Jim Jones a puppet for Jay-Z?
Were you smoking when you said you better than Nas?
I might have been a little bit. Well, as far as let's get this right. I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo boo when we talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that
but listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school.
I just seen the Breakfast Club. Jimmy popping all that bullshit. I be seeing Jimmy talking about we Gucci boo boo. He in the Gucci store. Talking about we Gucci boo boo. The Black King they was going fuck up. Jimmy, they was like, Marita Monero.
Whole situation began when Jim appeared on the Jadakiss and Fat Joe podcast to discuss his recent hits. During the episode, Joe mentioned that some kids were comparing Jim to Nas, saying Jim is bigger for this generation. Jim has always been a Nas fan, so the fact that he didn't clear things up feels strange.
I saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
that's my young boy.
big hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying, Nas is like a god.
In my era too. I mean,
so to be compared,
let me
that young kid out.
He was young, and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's break this down. I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade.
Jim just laughed and said these new kids don't even know Nas, and that Nas's impact on rap culture is nothing compared to what he's done.
Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan. Period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that. I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation. We talking about 94, 93. I was in 11th grade. Nigga, it's 2025. There's a big gap there, you know what I mean? And I want people to understand that. So when Shorty's telling people that, yeah, he's 20 some years old, that goes to show the part of the era that he's in, that I came into light and started going crazy, that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them, some of them though.
You know what I mean?
No one can deny that Dipset was massive and had a big influence on hip-hop and rap. But Jim wasn't talking about the Diplomats here. Nope, he claimed his own career is bigger than Nas's, and Dipset has nothing to do with that.
The comparisons and then Nick be trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this. I'm talking about the industry. I've been putting on. So let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I got to show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard them. You want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries.
Listen, we can't compare the two. What I'm trying to tell you is
I want to go there. I want to go down the line now because now we going down the line. He's a rapper and I'm a rapper.
Listen,
yes. Let's go statistically.
It feels great.
No, but I want to go statistically because when people be like,
I feel the same way. We all feel the same way.
Forget about the numbers. My numbers back up.
Let me step up.
Moment, Jim claimed he was bigger and better than Nas. The vibe in the room changed. You could see it all over Jim's face. He wasn't impressed and clearly thought Jim was talking nonsense. Nas is a legend, and Jim wasn't even taken seriously as a rapper until Ballin' dropped. Just a year ago, Jim was hoping for a chance to meet Nas, and now he's saying he's the better artist. Jada didn't say much, but his expression said it all exactly what he and the rest of the industry are probably thinking.
was coming up and things like that.
I've heard you say that.
Since the barbecue and things like that, like he really put the whole dope boy rap, crack hustler, get fresh rap into perspective before anybody else. Before I heard Jay do it, before I heard anybody else, like he changed the cadence of rap into a whole different steam. Like he's the one that broke the camel's back when it came to artists like, to me, when it came to artists like Big Daddy Kane and all these artists that came right before him. Like after Nas came with that, they started to fade out, and then Jay, Fat Joe, like all of these rappers that are spitting about the life that we was really starting to live right now and how it was changing. Like this is, you know what I mean? So that's how I felt about that whole.
After that, Jim took it even further, saying he could run circles around Nas when it comes to rapping. That's when things really spiraled. He didn't just stop at calling himself better, he doubled down. Jim claimed that lyrically flow-wise, and in terms of cultural impact, Nas couldn't touch him. In Jim's own words, I'm more relevant now than Nas has ever been.
Hey, bro, you been in this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah,
y'all
but look how you dress. Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. And the
But
things that we, listen to
I can be in the church house. You can't emphasize lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, I know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas.
Bro,
you're not seeing Nas, bro. Let's be real.
You got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than Nas.
It don't matter.
Look at you. Look at you.
Nobody from Dipset gonna take
Billboard entries, Spotify listeners, and #1 albums. Jim Jones tried to use stats to his advantage. He claimed the numbers spoke for themselves, boasting about streaming spikes and viral moments. But what he didn't expect was that everyone he spoke to came with receipts, and they weren't in his favor. Nas fans weren't about to let Jim disrespect a legend without clapping back.
Mats, no, nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record. Then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries. Then check all them entries. And like if you want to go to the billboard entries, pull up Nas billboard entries. Then pull up my billboard entries.
Can we address one thing though?
Go ahead.
Jim Jones has 9 entries in the Billboard 200 with 3 top 10 albums and no #1s, while Nas has 27 entries, 16 top 10 albums, and 6 that have reached #1 on the Billboard 200.
Right now, 2025, I'm in the game still rapping at a high capacity. If Nas wants to smoke, come in the booth. I will rap
You don't want
circles
no
around.
smoke.
Jim Jones is rapping at a high capacity right now in 2025. I'm on record as saying I think some of the best music that's been coming out of New York in recent years has been from Jim Jones. I haven't seen Nas in that mode. Nas still makes great music at a high level. I just haven't seen Nas in that, let's get active, getting at each other more.
Yeah, from whatever you painted the picture to be, to me to being a hype man, or he wasn't the best rapper, or he just started to get whatever you want to narrative you want to paint. You still got to listen to me talking to you right now in 2025. What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life. The last time he was in some shit like this where people were comparing is when him and Jay was beating on.
If by some miracle, Jim Jones had more streams and #1 albums than Nas, does that really matter? Nas has inspired an entire generation and reshaped hip-hop in ways Jim can't even imagine. When it comes down to it, street impact is what truly counts.
Jones went on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's. Oh, look, a topic in the topic.
Yeah.
He went on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's podcast and had a lot to say about some dude on the internet that said Jim Jones is better than Nas and has more Billboard hits than Nas.
It was a young kid. I believe he was like 23 or something, 22, 23. And he was saying that for his generation, his era, they don't look at Nas. And a lot of people took offense to that. I personally did not take offense just because of the kid's age, of the generation.
It's like a sports conversation. Like the numbers are the numbers. But in New York City with rappers, we don't necessarily go by that.
Yes, Travis Scott is the bigger act, more hits, more numbers, more. But to the rappers, don't nobody give a about what Travis Scott is talking.
This beef didn't start recently. Nas and Dipset have been clashing since the early 2000s. When Nas dissed the Diplomats and called Kamran's album Come Home With Me whack, Kamran fired back with a diss over Nas's Hate Me Now beat, kicking off a feud that lasted over a decade. Around that time, Jim and Jay-Z also started falling out, with Jay publicly mocking Jim.
Look at that Jim Jones, man.
hip hop, of course, you know, is a competitive sport, but on the other end of it, it's like certain people shouldn't be able to say your names until they've done something in the genre of music. I've done too much in this music to even have to answer that question. Like Jim Jones, who is Jim Jones? Like, he's not on anyone's top 10 list. He's not like no one's top 10 list, maybe not even his family. Oh my God. I was saying last night, it's like the 8th guy on the bench just screaming at Jordan, like, you a bum. Like, you want to be like the 9th guy on the bench. I'm not even worried about you.
AJ and Jim's beef kept escalating, with Jim siding with Cam after Jay refused to make Cam the vice president of ROC. That decision widened the divide between the Harlem Crew and Jay-Z, sparking a years-long feud full of subliminal shots, diss tracks, and backstage drama. Jim and Cam felt ignored and disrespected, especially since it was Dame Dash who originally brought them into the label.
He kind of talks about is Cameron erasing that Jay-Z verse.
Jay one day was like, I did a little something for you in the studio. Then he had something to Old Boy.
This is Old Boy's already number one?
Yeah, it's popping. Yeah, I listened to it and I was like, erase that shit.
That's his glory to tell us like that. It was a hell of a move and it worked.
He had never gave Cam a verse. So now that he had to take a record and it got hot, now Jay wanted to jump on it.
Jay being so big of an artist at that time, but the way it happened, I don't see nothing wrong with the move that he did. That was kind of the genius that he had with it when it came to combating things that were coming at us and shit like that. I mean,
I listened to it and I was like, erase that shit. You see, did this to me.
That's what they hated about Cam, because he just wouldn't bow down to Jay.
Saga and Jay beefed for years, with Jim even throwing hands at one of Jay's executives. In his diss tracks, Jim called Jay soft and claimed he'd lost touch with the streets, accusing him of trying to shut Harlem out of ROC/FLO. On December 22, 2008, Jim punched and kicked a friend and colleague of Jay-Z at a Louis Vuitton store in Manhattan. He later pleaded guilty to misdemeanor assault the following November.
I get arrested for videotaping this? Huh? I don't know how to work my camera. Lipstick. Yell out Dipset. Yell out Dipset.
But eventually, this beef ended with Jim crawling back to Jay-Z, begging for a deal. The same man he dissed for years was now the one set to save his career. Jim's known for being a chronic flip-flopper, constantly turning his back on friends and backtracking on his own words.
If I told you I was in the Rock Nation office, how would you feel about that? Huh? You think I was lying? That's clear enough for you? Talk to me. Let me know your sentiments. You heard?
If anybody pays the checks, it should be us. Cocaine, we did that. Fat bangs, back home champagne. Remember living on the streets. Y'all still drinking Perrier Durex. We ain't getting through to you yet, huh? What's better than 1 millionaire? 2. Especially if they from the same views as you.
This isn't even the first time Jim has gone back on his word, which is exactly why 50 Cent doesn't respect him. Back in 2007, during the peak of the G-Unit and Dipset beef, Jim accepted 50's offer to attend a G-Unit event, thinking 50 would sign him. But 50 wasn't about to sign a traitor. He just wanted to show Cam what kind of person Jim really was. In front of everyone, 50 embarrassed Jim and made it clear he had zero respect for him.
Get
And I'm back. It's your boy 50 Cent bringing you more Rap City. It's going down right here. I know this is your favorite show right now because I'm on it. And I told y'all earlier I was going to bring somebody new in the G Unit. I might have a new signing. I might not. You see, I got the whole G Unit here. We're going to get it going. What you got back here? Oh, man. Yeah. What you know? What you know? What's it? It's your man Jim Jones right here. Bought you the biggest record of last year, right?
Oh yeah, we had a nice
what we
time
call
last
that
year.
one? What we call that
I was
one?
balling. We still balling. What's poppin', big baby?
Yes, sir. Was balling. You know, so
man, we got this.
So why was you here? And we got to do that one time. Tell me how to show you how.
Jim defended his actions by saying he values opportunities. But let's be real, he chose a record deal over loyalty.
Jimmy was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was your man, like on the side, like on the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when balling took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks. It's Lloyd Banks thing. He wanted that. He was watching them be that, like Mace be that, and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally he had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked, and I knew I just took the shot, Murder, to see, because I wasn't sure he was gonna go for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. You gotta watch to see how he responds. And then when you see, he like, oh, he really like that. Like, give me this, give me Jimmy. Yeah, tell him we want him. We want you at the show, Jimmy. Yeah, but that was one of those things. I just threw it out and see what. And then when he bit to it, because it was like he was having a moment that not sure that was going to ever happen again at that point. And then he's going, for them, they had records that where, look, I always say this to certain artists, I go, damn, when is he going to have his moment? Like, Fab, I said.
You gotta know, like, how did that work? You performing, like.
They called me like, yo, you want to come out and perform at the show? Shit, I got the hottest record. I'm popping out. And I wish they would look at me sideways, think they're going to do anything funny. I'm with all of that. We'll boom this shit up. It'll be nasty in New York. That's how I was living back then. That's what I was on. I wasn't on nobody's friendship. I was in there like a pirate. What's up? What's up? That's how I was. You dig? Like, hope everybody be calm, because y'all know this shit gonna go way left real quick. You dig? I'm here for what I need out this shit.
Right.
It's that crowd to hear me do balling, and let me get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so it wasn't no deep thought. Like, this is like, nigga, it's an opportunity. I gotta go.
Yeah, I wasn't going there to do nothing genuine at all.
50 and Jay-Z have been beefing since day one. The moment Jim went begging Jay for a deal, he made 50 his enemy. Even now, 50 believes Jay is using Jim to get back at Nas. Jim started throwing shots at Nas soon after teaming up with Jay. And if you know 50, you know that didn't sit well with him. 250, Jay is just using Jim as a pawn, stirring up old beef with Nas while keeping his own hands clean. 50 made it clear he sees right through Jim's act.
That's what they did to Nas. I know what you did to Nas, Jay. That's tough. Like, nah, he come out on the same weekend.
Like, I used to have questions like why every time my album dropped, Jay would drop.
When is she coming out? My shit coming out.
I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on time.
Why you do that, man? I be saying that I do whatever the fuck I want to do, and they be looking at me like I'm grinding for doing that. This could be super quiet doing some real grinding shit. Looking and see if anybody noticed.
50 knows Jay-Z is behind Jim's moves. Jay prefers to keep his hands clean and his image polished, letting guys like Jim throw the punches for him. 50 realized this years ago, saying, "A boss keeps their hands clean even when they do dirt."
He recently said something crazy about he said nobody's scared of 50 Cent.
I think he would have done that if that was 50 Cent. No one's scared of 50 Cent. I want everyone to be clear. No one's scared of 50 Cent.
I think it was kind of taken out of context a little bit, but what do you think about it?
I don't think it was taken out of context. No, I think the guy who was talking to him made him feel like a punk. You see what I'm saying? So he had to say, yo, nobody scared of 50. Let's get this clear. Nobody is scared of 50. You know, but I'm not the issue. Him making you feel like a punk is the issue. And at the end of the day, I look at it and people don't assess themselves. even really intelligent people. And Jay's a smart guy. You know what I'm saying? He'll analyze other people and other things that they're doing and not actually look at what's happening to him and his transition and difference. But his actual, right now, he's in a real safe space. He created this real safe aura. This is why people walking on the stage and why it's happening like that. A lot of it wouldn't have been like that if he actually dealt with his issues himself. See, he's a piece of work, man. He always put somebody in front of him. When Jada came for him, he put Beanie in front of him. And Beanie went back and forth with Jadakiss. When Cam came for him, he put True Life in front of him. Huge difference in energy internationally in 50 Cent and Jay-Z. In fact, his largest selling record sold 430-something thousand copies. My largest selling records sold 5 million. Let them be fooled in America and think there's a competition there. Because America can be purchased. You can buy it with marketing dollars. You see what I'm saying? But the rest of the world, there's not enough marketing dollars to go around.
He's seemingly around Diddy.
I don't know. That was a real suburb question.
Yeah, I know, right? Proximity.
Hold on. Proximity.
Proximity. That's the SAT hit parade word. I learned that.
Do you think he knew all of the shit that was going on? Yeah, that was like a...
I don't want to incriminate myself.
I know, but the way he said it...
Like I said...
no matter how you answer that shit, you snitching.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a nice kind of...
You asked the question like a fan.
Hey, I grew up with white people, but there's one thing I know is how to get a black guy in trouble.
But it's a great question.
Yo, just give him the Happy Meal before you ask him to snitch, bro.
You're not worried that if you throw little and you don't throw out allegations, but like you kind of poke fun at them.
You just ask questions.
You're not worried that it comes back your way. Like people dig up your past and try to pull stuff up.
I don't got that in my past. I'm not.
Everybody got a little bit.
Look,
like,
I took.
Not that it's real enough.
I took a pill, but it was for me to perform better. For her to remember, buddy. I didn't give her a drink so she forget what the happened. What the fuck is going on here, bro? Yes, I took the drinks. I gave me the fucking drug to perform. So she can remember and possibly love me for that.
Did it work?
What the f?